Very good evening to you and welcome to the news. I'm Ebere. We're going to line the headlines tonight. Anambra State Assembly passes Assembly Service Commission Bill. Radio Nigeria Purity FM seeks partnership with ABS and capacity development. Suspended CJN on Noggin resigns. Another authority in humanitarian ship carrying 64 migrants, mostly Nigerians, stuck in the Mediterranean Sea after Malta and Italy refused its entry. And now details of the news. The State House of Assembly has passed a bill to establish the Anambra State House of Assembly Service Commission. The bill, which was sponsored by Barrister Chibu Enwenzo and 26 others, House of Assembly correspondent Chukwemeka Modelim filed the report.
The commission, according to the bill, shall comprise a chairman and 4 other members, with at least 1 member drawn from each of the 3 senatorial zones in the state. Speaking on the merits of the bill, the chairman, House Committee on Services, Chief Boniface Okonkwo, whose committee scrutinized the bill, emphasized that the bill, when assented to by Governor Willie Obiano, will enable the House to discharge its duties creditably without any form of interference. Chief Okonkwo commended members of the House, particularly members of the committee, staff of the House, and House of Assembly correspondents for the roles they played to make the bill a reality. On his part, the member representing Onitsha North 1 constituency, Barrister Tubo Enwezo, expressed joy that the 6th Assembly has set precedents by passing a bill that will strengthen the legislature in Anambra State.
And if you look at this bill, it says a clerk. What are the functions of the clerk? The general running of the house. If you look at our rules, it says, so under the division, says the arms is in charge, is the number 1.
Speaker of the House, Mrs. Rita Madawu, noted that the 6th Assembly has repositioned the State House of Assembly by passing a people-oriented bill, as passing a bill that will improve the performance of the House is no mean feat.
Duties of the accounting officer, the establishment of the House Funds Management Committee, composition of the board, I have it.
From the State House of Assembly, Chukwemeka Modelim, ABS News.
The Anambra State Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has continued her ongoing war against articulated vehicles that disobey traffic rules with a visit to Nnewi, where they impounded 32 offending vehicles. This brings to 84 the number of vehicles impounded since they commenced the enforcement exercise 2 days ago in Onitsha. Valentine Mbaduha has detailed report.
Of road traffic crashes involving articulated vehicles in the state, having raised greater concern, necessitates relevant agencies to rise to the challenge of reducing its occurrence to the barest minimum. Speaking while leading a team of road marshals to Nnewi for the enforcement of safety directives, the Anambra State FRSC Sector Commander, Mr. Andrew Kumapai, who decried the level of loss of lives and properties as a result of road crashes involving articulated vehicles, appealed to drivers to be safety conscious by abiding by the traffic rules and regulations.
Offences ranging from light sign violations, dangerous driving, worn-out tires, overloading, some failure to cover their particles, what they are carrying, those tippers. And some of them even have extra coach, which is against what is expected of them.
Contributing, the Nnewi Unit Commander, Assistant Corps Commander Christy Obasi, expressed delight over the results from the exercise. She called on articulated vehicle drivers and all other drivers that ply the highways to collaborate with the agency by adhering to all the traffic rules.
Arrested on ground here about 32 of them that have committed various traffic offenses, and it's not going to stop. We are going to continue.
Some of the drivers, including Mr. Lawrence Onyeka and Mr. Anthony Okeke, who admitted being guilty of the offenses for which their vehicles were impounded, commended the commitment and zeal of the FRSC in ensuring safety on the highways, assuring of their full compliance to ensuring that their aim is achieved.
And had a Zoku, Wero, Oga, Megida, Megidani. And now we to honor the Obodaisi wed I na managing when you're na manage.
Bezoku na adara umewu because of even maka na even within not the end or the whole level. So I na go magana grass and wara wan am go change the grass. See okay.
Some of the offences that the drivers were charged with include non-provision of vehicle papers and driver's license, expired driver's license, overloading, worn-out tires, overspeeding, non-usage of seatbelts, ineffective speed limit device, amongst others. From Nnewi, in the Nnewi North Local Government Area, Valentine Mbadoga reporting for ABS News.
Nsugbe and Nando communities in Anambra East Council area have benefited from the World Bank-assisted community and social development projects. The World Bank intervention is made possible by the Anambra State government's counterpart funds, necessitating the coming on board of the agency geared towards poverty alleviation. ABS correspondent Chidema Ekanyon was there and now reports.
The Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency's presence at Nsugbe and Nando is part of the first phase of their intervention in the two communities. Nsugbe was handed over on the spot the sum of 2,689,002 naira, being 30% of amount required to construct a 6-classroom block for Nadi Primary School in Nsugbe. Nando collected check for 1,165,387 naira 50 kobo for the rehabilitation of a 5-classroom block at Community Secondary School Nando. Addressing the communities while presenting the checks, the General Manager, Anambra State Community and Social Development Agency, Mr. Chudimojikwu, noted that the fund being disbursed is to increase access to better life through improved social services where projects follow demand and community-driven approach.
They only come to assist you if you make a demand for us to come to assist you. First is for us to sensitize you, for you to know the possibilities, the procedures and processes of the project. We will now ask you to go and think and then show interest if you so desire.
Receiving the checks, the chairman Nando Community Development Project Committee, Honorable Amobi Fokanse, and the vice chairman of the said committee in Nsugbe, Sir Isaac Okafor, pledged judicious use of the funds for the specific projects.
And that very particular block room we are talking about, the roof have already been, some of them have already been removed. So when school children are studying inside, they find that rain are disturbing them. That's why we choose that project, so that we renovate it, so that children will have a very sound education.
Pledging their support, the President General of Nando, Chief Ignatius Ayadenono, and his Nsugbe counterpart, Ichio Gochukwu Ogude, promised to supervise and see that the work is done with specification. It would be recalled that each community made a 10% contribution to the project, while the World Bank and the state government made the remaining 90% contribution.
As you can see, this is a 5-classroom block that needs rehabilitation at Nando. And with this, we hope that what they have said, they will keep to it by the time that is expected of them. From Nando in Anambra East Council area, I am Chidema Ekanyon reporting for ABS News.
Well, the need for broadcast stations to synergize through staff exchange has been stressed. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS, Chief Uchenwara, made this call while playing host to the new General Manager of Radio Nigeria Purity FM Oka, Mr. Uchenna Chukwedo. In his office in Oka, Equiajide reports that the new General Manager was accompanied on the visit by some senior staff of the establishment. Her report.
Was an opportunity for them to meet physically and synergize, advocated a roundtable discussion for heads of broadcasting stations in the state aimed at exchanging ideas, facilities, and experiences. According to the ABS boss, the media world is changing through media convergence. Therefore, all hands must be on deck for better productivity.
I'm hoping that during your tenure, we will strengthen the relationship. And even more, see also if there are other things that we can do better that we've not been doing.
Earlier, the Purity FM General Manager, Mr. Chukwedo, said the essence of the visit was to share ideas and partner the ABS.
We're very happy that we're here today with you. there will be very much more other avenues and opportunities where we'll be collaborating.
The head of News Purity FM, Mr. Chris Obileri, said the industry is fast growing and prayed that the existing collaboration between the stations be sustained. He described the ABS as the mother of all broadcast stations in the state.
We appreciate the efforts you've shown so far to ensure that the industry is fast moving in the states.
Enoka Ekwi Ajide, ABS News.
The need for young priests and seminarians to deepen their study on philosophy so as to better teach the Catholic doctrine was the focus of lectures delivered at the 14th Memorial Lecture of Pope John Paul II. The event was held at Pope John Paul II Major Seminary of Uno, Awka South Council area. Correspondent Njideka Okoye covered the event in our reports.
The event was held to mark the 14th year anniversary of the death of St. John Paul II. This year's memorial lecture has its theme as African Conception of Man and Challenges of Insecurity in Contemporary Africa. In a keynote presentation, the Catholic Bishop of Nsukka Diocese and Pro-Chancellor of Enugu State University of Technology, Enugu, Most Reverend Professor Godfrey Ona, stated that whatever any African philosopher has said, thought, or written about human beings should be regarded as a perspective that grew from his African experience and culture on usage and internalization of African culture, and not necessarily the whole representation of Africans and what they mean about human beings. He called on the seminarians to take the study on philosophy serious.
I have been able up till now as a bishop to find theological answers to problems I didn't think of before, because I constantly applied rational deduction to the theological and doctrinal principles I received.
The rector of the seminary, Reverend Father Dr. Benjamin Ewelo, in his church listed challenges of insecurity in Africa, noting that African conception of man is good but needs to be Christianized, urging the seminarians not to joke with the opportunity they have.
Especially in fishing out top intellectuals to help us discuss the issue of the concept of man and the challenges of insecurity in our continent, Africa.
One of the lead presenters, Mr. Michael Ozumba, said the present insecurity situation in Africa began years back during the Atlantic slave trade by the Europeans, which resulted to the defilement of African culture. In their remarks, the Academic Dean of Philosophy and Chairman Planning Committee of the event, Reverend Father Dr. John A.K., and the Chairman on the occasion, Dr. Charles Nweke, charged the seminarians to toe the path of the late philosopher Pope John Paul II, their patron saint. A seminarian, Solomon Ezekweme, said he has learned a lot that will help him achieve his ambition of becoming a Catholic priest after training. Enoka Njideka Okoye, ABS News.
Well, moving on to our national stories, the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Justice Walter Onegan, has resigned with immediate effect. He turned in his resignation letter to President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday, a day after the National Judicial Council, NJC, recommended that he be compulsorily retired for misconduct. The National Judicial Council, NJC, had on Wednesday said it has forwarded the outcome of its investigation into corruption allegations against the suspended Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Walter Onegan, to President Muhammadu Buhari for action. The legal body, in a statement that was signed by its Director of Information, Mr. Soji Oye, said it convened an emergency meeting to consider the report of the five-man committee it constituted to investigate allegations of misconduct that were leveled against Justice Onegan and the acting CJN Justice Tanko Muhammad. However, the NJC said that it decided to refrain from considering the allegation that Justice Onegan failed to declare his assets, saying it would amount to subjudice since the matter is in court. The two-quarter consecutive declines in the volume of premium motor spirit PMS, popularly known as petrol, importation has been reversed with a 21.7% rise in the fourth quarter of 2018 to 5.3 billion litres, up to 4.37 billion recorded in three quarters of 2018. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, disclosed this in its report titled Petroleum Products Imports and Consumption Trackout Statistics fourth quarter 2018. The report indicated that the country imported 5.32 billion litres of PMS and 1.30 billion litres of automotive gas oil, AGO, or diesel in fourth quarter of 2018. It also stated that 114.19 million litres of dual-purpose kerosene, DPK, 267.80 million litres of aviation turbine kerosene, ATK, 50.73 million litres of base oil, 42.38 million litres of bitumen, 10.63 million litres of low-pour fuel oil, and 331.78 million litres of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, were imported into the country in the time period. Well, moving on to the foreign scene, a humanitarian ship carrying 64 migrants is stuck in the Mediterranean Sea after both Malta and Italy refused them entry, setting the scene for another standoff between EU member states. The migrants were rescued off the coast of Libya by the German NGO CI. The aid group said it was looking for another ship that had gone missing on Monday with 51 migrants on board when it received a distress call. It accuses the Libyan Coast Guard of ignoring its attempt to get in contact. One young child, a baby and a pregnant woman are among the 64 people rescued who originate from 6 countries, although most come from Nigeria. Strong winds have forced the captain of CI's Alan Kudi ship, named after the Syrian boy whose washed-up body pictured in 2015 moved the world, to have as many migrants move below deck as possible where they are in cramped conditions. The ship is currently in international waters off the Italian island of Lampedusa, where it will remain until a solution is found. Both Malta and Italy have refused entry. And on sports news, the chairman of Anambra State Sports Development Commission, Mr. Tony Oli, says the commission is developing measures to ensure that the current success being recorded in the sports sector in the state is sustained. Mr. Oli made this known on ABS Breakfast TV show Good Morning Anambra, while disclosing that 2 Anambra athletes who won gold medals in the last National Sports Festival and made tops in a recent festival where they represented Nigeria in Algeria. The report.
To make sure that they move up and represent Nigeria in the Olympics. And the young man that won a silver medal in javelin, also came first in one Nigerian meet at Ijebode. He has been called to the national camp. 17-year-old young man. He won silver medal at the National Sports Festival.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's Super Eagles have moved up on the FIFA World Rankings from 46th position to 42nd after their Africa Cup of Nations win against Seychelles and the 1-0 pipping of Egypt in a friendly game in Asaba, Delta State. The Super Eagles, with the April ranking, are now 3rd behind Senegal and Tunisia in the African national team ratings.
And that's it on the news tonight. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any parts of the world by logging onto our website, www.absradiotv.com. You can like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABS Radio Television. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And just before we go tonight, a quick reminder of our top stories. Anambra State Assembly has passed Assembly Service Commission Bill. Radio Nigeria Purity FM is seeking partnership with ABS on capacity development. Suspended CJN Onogan has resigned. On the foreign scene, we brought to you that humanitarian ship carrying 64 migrants, mostly Nigerians, is stuck in the Mediterranean Sea at Malta and Italy, as Malta and Italy refused its entry. And that's the size of our package tonight. Many thanks for joining the bulletin. I am Ebere Ugunna.